Dear Taurus, if you're watching this right now, know that it's not just an ordinary video. This is a heartfelt message crafted just for you, a sacred whisper from the one you once called Mom. In the next few moments, you'll discover why your spirit guided you here. And if you stay until the end, I promise you'll hear what your heart has been longing to know, but perhaps never believed was possible. Have you been sensing something unusual lately? Perhaps a familiar sense of peace washing over you amidst the chaos, a cherished scent drifting by unexpectedly, or a dream that left you feeling strangely safe and held, as if someone is quietly watching over you from afar. This isn't mere coincidence. Your mother, from the realm of light, has sent you a clear message, and I've been chosen to deliver it to you right now. She can no longer remain silent. There's a truth, a secret she has held close for far too long. And today, she wants you to hear it with all your heart. This isn't entertainment, this is a healing ritual, a doorway opened just for you, allowing you to remember who you truly are at your core, and to begin building something new, something solid and secure that your mother has quietly prepared for you long ago. So take a deep breath. What comes next may bring tears to your eyes, but these will be the first tears of releasing a heavy burden. Maybe you don't recall the last time you truly allowed yourself to feel vulnerable. Perhaps you've learned to conceal your exhaustion and weariness behind a strong, steady exterior, but your mother knows. She always knew. Every time you've shouldered responsibilities, every time you've strived to create stability for others while neglecting your own needs, every moment you've felt quietly steadfast, yet utterly alone in your commitments. She's there not to pull you back, but to remind you that your resilience is seen, and you are never alone in your strength. Today, she is speaking loudly and clearly, saying that the time has come to break the silence of endurance. Some truths, if left unspoken, will continue to sow seeds of doubt about your own worth. They will make you think, maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe I don't deserve stability and peace. But no, my dear, your mother wants you to understand that everything you've built, every bit of patience you've shown, was never in vain. Those times you stood firm when others wavered, offered security, and accepted the weight. It wasn't a sign of being stubborn or naive. It came from a very real place of loyalty and a desire to build something lasting. And she saw it all, but there's something she has never revealed to you until now. Two heavy-spirited souls once stood between you and your true happiness and security. One was someone very close, who pretended to value your stability, calling you their rock, yet deep inside, they harbored envy for your steadfastness and feared that your solid presence would expose their own insecurity. The other, you might not clearly remember, but they once influenced someone you loved, planting seeds of doubt, twisting the truth with subtle words that slowly made you feel demanding or rigid for simply seeking consistency and reliability. Because of that, genuine connection began to fade, and your sense of security was undermined. Your mother witnessed it all. Every quiet night you wrestled with uncertainty, every moment you questioned, what did I do wrong? Why isn't my loyalty and reliability valued? But the truth is, you did nothing wrong. You simply invested your trust and steadfastness in people who weren't ready to receive the kind of dependable love and commitment you offered. Your mother doesn't blame you, she never did. She too once poured her heart into building something secure, only to close herself off, not understanding how someone could walk away from that foundation so carelessly. But then she realized Not everyone has the courage to embrace true stability. True stability requires responsibility and maturity, and if someone is unhealed or unsettled within themselves, they will retreat from that solid ground. What breaks your mother's heart is seeing her child begin to shrink back, thinking, maybe I should trust less, expect less consistency. That's when she knew she had to speak up. If you don't hear this today, you might continue living a life that isn't truly yours, a life where you're always cautious, always guarding your heart, always afraid that if you invest and trust again, your foundations will crumble again. But you know what? You've faced foundations shaking before, and you're still here. You've weathered challenges to your patience and endurance that would make others give up just hearing about them. I once thought a betrayed trust or a shattered sense of security was the end, but after everything I've experienced, I realized that these breaches don't weaken us. They make us see what's truly solid. Only when our defenses are down can we no longer pretend, and that's when our soul begins to truly live from its authentic core values. You are the embodiment of what your mother believes. A heart that's known disappointment in loyalty is not the end. It's the beginning of a soul that knows how to rebuild with wisdom and true inner strength. Today, your mother doesn't just want to comfort you. She wants you to see yourself through new eyes, not with regret, but with gratitude for your resilience. You have bravely navigated instability alone, but from now on, you don't have to carry the weight alone anymore. Your mother is here, and I am here too. We are about to unveil something sacred that your mother has kept hidden all this time. She has waited for this moment for a long time, not out of anger, but because she knew that if you heard these things while your trust was still broken, you wouldn't believe them. But now, your soul is mature enough to understand, strong enough to listen, and grounded enough to stop blaming yourself for desiring security and truth. She wants to tell you this: that person you trusted so deeply, the one you built plans with, the one who made you feel like your secure world collapsed with one irresponsible act or cold dismissal, that person was once very afraid of the stability you brought. Not because it wasn't enough, but because it was too real, too demanding of commitment, too steadfast. Sometimes, deep reliability makes unhealed hearts feel cornered or exposed, and they don't know how to receive it. That is not your fault. This is the first lesson your mother wants you to keep close. Don't let someone else's instability define your worth or shake your core need for security. You are not too demanding. You are not unreasonably rigid. You are simply living true to your Taurus soul, a soul that craves stability, values loyalty, and knows how to build lasting value. This world needs more people like you, not fewer. I want to share something from my heart. As someone who also deeply values tangible security and loyalty, there were times I blamed myself for trusting promises too deeply, for being too patient with inconsistency. I used to think, if only I valued stability a little less, maybe I wouldn't have been so disappointed. But the more I grew, the more I realized that a heart that seeks security and reliability is a gift, not a burden. Those who cannot appreciate that gift do not define who you are. Your mother understands. There are days when you want to stop building, stop believing in anything lasting. There are mornings you wake up feeling tired of being the strong one, and moments when you think, maybe I'll just live quietly, rely only on what I can control, and not expect true reliability from anyone anymore. But that's not you. You are the one who finds quiet joy in the fruits of your labor, who patiently waits for a seed to sprout. You are the one who knows how to love loyally and enduringly even after having your trust shaken so many times. Because of that, your mother wants you to learn one more thing. Security and loyalty should not be rewards you have to earn. They are fundamental rights in a healthy connection. You don't need to strive to be worthy of stability. You just need to be yourself, steadfast and true, and the right person will see that intrinsic value. She doesn't promise that the old one will return and change, but she assures you that the next person who enters your life with serious intent will be someone who is not afraid of the solid ground within you. That person will not walk away when you express your need for commitment. They won't make you guess their intentions every night, and they won't need you to lower your standards just to feel adequate. I've been in relationships where every time I expressed a need for clarity or commitment, I was told I was being demanding. I tried to seem more easygoing, less invested, to appear easier to be around. But in the end, the most painful part wasn't that they left. It was that I once abandoned my own fundamental needs to keep them. I don't want anyone to trade their truth and core needs for a stability that isn't real. Your mother also says this to you. Don't wait for someone to apologize to begin forgiving. Forgiveness is not about whether they deserve it. It's about your peace and reclaiming your inner ground. You are no longer the person who collapsed when a foundation proved unreliable. You are no longer the one who needs to prove your worth through endurance. Now, you are the one who chooses stability for yourself, and your mother is proud of you, more than anyone who has ever claimed to offer you security. There's one more thing your mother cannot leave unsaid. A door to greater security is opening. She whispers in every moment of quiet peace, not for you to see it with your eyes, but for you to feel it with your heart and your grounded intuition. What's coming will not be loud or flashy. It won't look like a grand, risky opportunity. No fireworks, no thunder, just a practical offer, a consistent, reliable action repeated over time. A person who casually mentions something that suddenly quiets your heart with a feeling of rightness and security. Your mother wants to ask you this. Do you still believe in the tangible, reliable things you can sense, the values your heart knows are real and true? If so, this is the moment to not ignore them. Don't dismiss your gut feelings about reliability. Don't overlook the small signs of consistency you once thought were mere coincidence, because they're not. Nothing is a coincidence when your heart quietly resonates with a sense of yes, this feels solid. She told me clearly that you once said yes to others, but rejected your own needs for security. You once stepped back so others could maintain their comfort zones. You once presented a strong front when you yearned for dependable support, and during that time, Mom remained silent because she respected your choices and your patience. But today, she speaks up because if you continue to miss yourself, to ignore your core need for genuine security, you might forget who you truly are, and she cannot allow that to happen. Do you remember the last time you chose yourself? Not just in choosing a comfortable item or a good meal, but in choosing a life where you didn't have to try so hard just to feel secure? Choosing a situation where you didn't have to apologize for needing stability? Choosing someone for whom you didn't need to pretend to be effortlessly strong just so they wouldn't feel pressured? If you don't remember, then this is your invitation from Mom, from the realm of light, saying, it's time. It's time for you to rise, not to fight, but to receive yourself, to receive the peace and abundance you once thought you didn't deserve or had to endlessly strive for. Have you ever turned away from genuine happiness because you feared it wouldn't last? Have you ever pushed away someone reliable just because you feared they'd eventually change or leave? My dear, your mum wants you to know that you are no longer that little girl/boy living in anxious waiting. You don't have to beg for loyalty. You don't have to strain to feel worthy of stability. You only need the courage to believe that the best, most secure things in your life can begin today, from the very moment you dare to say, "I choose my peace and my own intrinsic worth." And if I may share something very honest, I didn't used to choose my own stability either. I once sat amidst material success, feeling completely empty inside due to a lack of genuine, reliable connection. I smiled brightly at others' achievements, but at night, I'd collapse under an invisible weight of insecurity. At that time, I believed maintaining outward peace for others was more important than honoring my own need for authentic security. But it's not. I wish someone had told me this earlier. Choosing your need for stability and peace is not selfish. Choosing yourself, your core values, is the only way to truly build lasting, healthy relationships without losing your own soul's foundation. You know, there are moments in life when we think we've been patiently silent for too long, that no one hears our quiet needs anymore. But the truth is the opposite. Sometimes it's in that very steadfast silence that the quietest prayers for security are heard the loudest. Maybe you don't even remember the last thing you truly prayed for regarding stability because you've grown too weary to keep hoping. But Mom hasn't. She never stopped speaking on your behalf, advocating for your peace. She named the secure things you no longer dared to wish for. I truly believe that the universe never turns away from a plea born of a genuine desire for grounding and building. It might not come right away, it might not arrive in the exact way you expected, but it will come when you're brave enough to open your heart to receive that solid foundation. I used to think forgiving betrayal or unreliability was the hardest thing, but in truth, the hardest thing is forgiving yourself for being too patient, trusting too loyally, and hoping for stability for too long in unstable ground. I used to blame myself for not being more cautious or demanding, but now I understand. We are not weak because we crave security and are loyal. We are simply those who didn't want to shut our hearts too soon to the possibility of building something real and lasting. And that is not wrong. I've met many people in life, strong, independent, successful, but when it comes to matters of the heart and security, all they wish for is someone to tell them, "You don't have to constantly prove your worth or fight for stability." They, like you and me, simply want someone who understands their need for reliability without needing endless explanations. And Mom, she is the first person who understood you that way. She saw your inner strength when you could no longer see it yourself. She believed in you, in the most steadfast part of your being, the part you once thought made you stubborn or resistant to change. But Mom said this, something that still brings tears to my eyes when I recall it. It's that steadfast, reliable part that is the most beautiful part of you. Because you've known instability, you deeply value security. Because you've been let down, you don't treat others or commitments carelessly. And Mom begs you not to forget that. There's something I always carry with me. Every time you stand firm after a storm that could have uprooted you, the light of your resilience becomes stronger. Every time you forgive yourself or others, you release a burden from your ancestral line. And every time you choose loyalty and dependability, even when no one sees, you are making the world just a little more grounded. That is why Mom never stops reminding you. You didn't come here to live a small, insecure life. You came to awaken yourself and ground those who have lost their way from lasting values. So if today you feel like you've reached your limit, if you feel like you're standing on uncertain ground, not knowing what's next, Mum wants you to remember, it doesn't matter what tangible things you've lost or what trust was broken. What belongs to you through your intrinsic worth, through your grounded nature, through your capacity for loyalty, is starting to return or be built anew. This time, it won't come as a challenge, but as something solid and deserved that you are ready to receive and nurture. My dear Taurus, if you're still listening to these words, I want to give you a hug from my heart, because I know only a courageous and patient heart dares to listen this deeply. Mum is smiling from that place too. She says, "Thank you for not giving up on building a good life. Thank you for choosing to stay grounded even when it felt easier to drift. Thank you for coming back to your own core value. And I, with all the love one can send through a screen, also want to thank you, because you've proven that you don't have to be loud to be strong. You don't have to be constantly flexible to keep loving authentically. As long as the heart still beats with a desire for true security, there's still a chance to begin again. Not from scratch, but from a deeper, more solid place where your true self is finally allowed to exist and thrive. Dear one, Mum left behind one last thing. A sentence I've repeated many times lately, but this time, I want you to receive it as a soul vow, a declaration of your worth. Place your hand over your heart, take a deep, grounding breath, and read it slowly with me. I am no longer the old version of myself. I do not live to please, to be chosen based on compromise, or to be kept through mere endurance. I live to be myself, grounded, kind, and full of intrinsic worth. I forgive myself for once believing I wasn't good enough, or that my needs were too much, and from today on, I no longer chase security. I welcome stability and love as a sacred gift. I deserve to receive and build upon solid ground. Mum is still here, and I am ready to move forward. If you feel this message touch something in your heart, let me know with a whisper in the comments. You don't have to say much, just one honest sentence. I'm here, or I am grounded. Because maybe that small sentence will be the guiding light, the stable anchor for another weary soul. And if you feel like keeping this ritual a little longer, you can save it or share it with someone you feel might need this grounding message. This is not just a video. This is a doorway to inner peace and stability, and I believe you have just walked through it. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Mum, for sending the message. Thank you, dear steadfast heart, for still beating strong. See you again when the soul speaks once more, in another ritual, in another space, but always in love and groundedness.